Om Shrinantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahamitam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastham Tumeva Vidito Timritumeti Nanya Pantha Vidyate Anayu Nanya Pantaya Naya Vidati. Here, O children of immortal bliss, I have found the effulgent one who is beyond darkness. Knowing him alone, one can transcend death. There is no other way. There is no other way. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 49. We are studying the 5th chapter of the Gita, and the theme of our talk today is same-sightedness, Samadarshitva. Previously, King Krishna taught us all of our actions end in knowledge. Sarva karmani jnane parisamapati. Oh, whatever you do, how our actions go to knowledge? Nishkam karma, unselfish action, purifies the mind. Next step, when the mind becomes purified, then it prays. Second stage is the prayer, upasana. First nishkam karma, then next stage is upasana, meditation, japa. What does it do? It makes the mind one-pointed. What does it do? Next step is illumination. So, all actions end in knowledge. Then what happens? When you are illumined, will you dance on the street? Or do nothing? No. Sri Ramakrishna said, when a person lost his job, he again finds out a job. So similarly, this man, after illumination, knowledge again forces him to go to action, to do something. How? That Krishna says in the same chapter, verse 7, Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriya, sarva bhutanta bhutatma kudvannapi nalipati. When a person becomes a yogi, his all senses are under control, his mind is pure. Then he feels oneness with all. And at that time, he always comes forward to serve and love others. He cannot help it. He cannot bear the sufferings of humanity. It is impossible. If you are a Jnani, if you are a knower of God, at that time his nature will be like Bodhisattva. He has a boat. He knows what is the other side of the river. So he comes to take people from this side to the other side. He cannot help it. So knowledge also brings a person to action. That we find in Swami Vivekananda's life, Shankara's life. How much work they did after illumination. It is a very interesting theme, you know. Viveka Chudamani tells us, Bashanta Vallaka Hitam Charanta. At that time, this illumined soul is just like the spring. What does the spring do? It brings bloom to the trees, plants, flowers, fruits. Similarly, illumined soul's life is just like spring. It gives life to all people. Happiness and peace. His breath, his action, his words, everything are for the good of humanity. Another thing, an illumined soul is completely unselfish. His selfishness died forever. So whatever he has, those things go to all. He cannot help it. Swami Vivekananda once made a remark, if I did anything wrong in my life, that also I did for others. A seed becomes a tree. Then the tree produces a lot of fruits, a lot of seeds. So in an illumined soul, through spiritual disciplines, his jivatma, the individual soul, that is the seed. At that time it becomes a full-blown, full-grown tree. And then he produces so many beautiful fruits and flowers that he gives away to the people, to humanity. It is his nature, he cannot help it. So this chapter is called Samadarshitva, same-sightedness. I'm just giving you the introduction that when we shall read the verses so that you may feel that what is Krishna is trying to tell us. From here, few verses, you will find the signs of an illumined soul, Jivan Mukta. This concept of Jivan Mukta is very important to the students of Vedanta. We shall read that verse, Yoiva Tvarjito Sargo Jesam Samyastitang Manha. It is not post-mortem liberation that after death you will go to heaven. Here and now, you will attain freedom, illumination. That is called Jivan Mukti, free while you are alive. We shall start with verse 17. Tad buddhaya tadatmana tannistha tatparayana gachanti apunaravrittim gyano nirdhuta kalmashaha. Those who have their intellect absorbed in that, whose self is that, whose steadfastness is in that, whose consummation is that, their impurity is cleansed by knowledge. They attain to non-rebirth, moksha. I just read the translation of this verse. Now listen. The deep meaning of these verse. Tad buddhaya. Buddhi, mind, when it uses its tool, that is discrimination, what happens? It discriminates what is real, what is unreal. God is real. This world is just apparent, it is Maya. It is not absolutely real, relatively real. So where should I focus my mind? On the reality. So this person, the moment focuses his mind in reality, it does not go outside. It goes inside. That is called Tad Buddhaya. It becomes indrawn. Just see the meaning of this word. We say, here we translated, whose self, whose intellect absorbed in that. How does it get absorbed in that? That means God, Brahman. So mind becomes indrawn. It cuts the outgoing tendencies. That is Tad Buddhaya. Buddhi, intellect, goes inside. Next, Tadatmana. Tadatmana means this person's Atma and Paramatma, this individual self and the cosmic self, are unified. One with God consciousness. He has no knowledge of the division between himself and God. That is Tadatmana. Just like one drop of water falls into the ocean, it becomes the ocean. So your soul has become one with God consciousness. Tannishtha. Tannishtha means whose steadfastness is in that. What does it mean, steadfastness in that? It means when you are working in this world, your mind dwells in God. Swami Chetanananda quite often used to say when he was not well, Dukkha jane, shorir jane, man tumi anande thako. Let the mind and the suffering take care of themselves. Now, let this dukkha jane, let the suffering and the body, let them take care of themselves. Oh my mind, you dwell in bliss. Sri Ramakrishna gave an illustration. You have toothache. You are cooking, you are vacuuming your room, you are driving your car, but all the time your mind is on the toothache, that throbbing sensation, pain, pain, pain. But you are doing all these activities. That happens, Tannishtha. When he practices meditation so much in his life that his mind automatically dwells in God. It is automatic system. And in the working field, when you are working, his mind remains in God. Sometimes when you drive, in the beginning you are very careful. But when you are an expert driver, driving becomes your second nature. You drink coffee and driving in one hand, or buying a donut, you are driving with another hand. At that time you have full control. You have no fear. You are driving in one hand and talking with cell phone. That means you are an expert driver. But a new driver, I will not dare to do that with both hands straight. So this person's mind becomes so absorbed in God consciousness, it becomes his second nature. Tannishtha. Then Tatparayanaha. whose consummation is that. That English word doesn't make any sense to me. Consummation there. Do you know how I understand? This person's whole focus is on God, not on other things. What do you mean by other things? Oh, I shall be rich like Bill Gates. I must have billions of dollars. Oh, I must have 2-3 homes, one in Florida, another in California. Oh, Midwest is not good in winter. You know, I shall go to heaven. All these plans are going on in the mind. That is called parayan. Parayan means mind is focusing on different objects. This person's mind does not focus that way. That is the reason Upanishad tells us, Esha issa parama gotihi, Esha issa parama sampad, Esha issa parama lokaha, Esha issa parama ananda. Jagvalka was telling, Goti, this is the goal, this Brahman, this Atman. This is the supreme goal, this is the supreme abode, this is the supreme treasure, and this is the supreme bliss. Having the particle of this bliss, these human beings enjoy in this world. Parama Goti, Parama Sampad, Parama Loka, Parama Ananda. Supreme. That is my focus. His focus is not on heaven, that I shall go to heaven, this and that. It is not there. Those are the 4 adjectives have been used to a knower of God. What happened? When you have these 4, Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmosha. Kalmosha means evil, bad tendencies. Kalmosha means pain, sin. Kalmosha means ignorance. All these things, that is Kalmosha Nirdhuta, are completely washed away from the mind. You see, all good and bad, evil, all these things are in the mind. The mind is completely cleaned by detergent of meditation. Sometimes people ask Swami, what does meditation do? And when you have dirty clothes, what do you do? You put in the washing machine, you put a lot of detergent, turn on the machine, all dirt will be out through the hose, the soap will be out through the hose, thus your clothes will be clean. Put it into dryer, put on and go out. Meditation works as detergent. It shuffles, it rotates, and then it cleanses the mind. That he is talking about. Jnana Nirdhuta. You have seen how the washing machine, that thing, moves like this, it agitates. Meditation does the same thing. It agitates the mind and cleanses it. That detergent is meditation. God's name purifies the mind. Jnana Nirdhuta. What happens? Gachanti apunarabrittim. He attains apunarabrittim. He does not come back to this world anymore. This you will have to learn from the scriptures. Why should I learn from the Ajnatam Gyapakam Shastram, the thing which we do not know in any other means? Scripture tells us. What happens when a person dies? How does he go? How does he depart from this world? How does he come back? That we will have to learn from the Upanishads and the other scriptures. Yesterday I was deeply thinking about this section. You see, Apunarabrittim. What is that? Punarabrittim means recycling. I saw in Laguna Beach, some people are always picking up all the aluminium cans from the garbage containers, and poor people, they are taking those things and they will recycle and you will make a little money. Again, those Cokes, those cans will become again as a container. It will be recycled, and in this way it will go. All our newspapers, recycle, recycle, recycle. Our government emphasizes recycling paper, please use it. Ecology, do not waste. Same thing, this soul will be recycled. Birth and death, birth and death. Is there any end? That is the question. Do you like to be born in this world? Most people say, yes, Swami. But some people say, no more. I'm disgusted. One day, everybody will be disgusted. Either this life or after millions of lives. You will be disgusted. So, that is called paravairagya. Supreme renunciation brings this world is just rubbish, nothing. I do not want it. I want God and God alone. He will not. His desire is only God. He will never come back. Who brings you back again and again? Your desire. There is no other thing. You are trying to bring yourself to this world again and again to fulfill your unfulfilled desires. That is, you don't need any extra brain to understand it. That is the only reason we are coming to this world again and again, to fulfill our desires. And if you have no desires, you will never come back. Vedanta says it is just the bhurjita bija. That is the word Vedanta uses. You roasted the peanut and put that peanut under this ground, it will never germinate because you roasted it, you fried it. But the raw peanut you put inside, under the ground, it will grow more offshoot. Many peanuts will come from one peanut. So, this soul's mind is roasted. There is no desires. So, no apunarabritim, it will not come back. If just to fulfill your my curiosity, I shall read these things from the Upanishad. You will understand what I am talking about. There are two types of people. Nishkam Kurmi, unselfish worker. When they die, I'm talking about like saints and seers of truth, they go to Brahma Loka, very higher realm. And there they wait. When the time comes, they merge into cosmic consciousness. They do not come back. But Shakam Kurmi, the people, those who have desires, even name, fame, or anything like that, you did a lot of charity, built hospitals, built educational institutions, you did a lot of philanthropic activities. What will happen to these people? They will go to Chandraloka, which is called akin to heaven. Listen. Those living in the village perform sacrifices, undertake works of public utility, and give alms go to smoke, from smoke to night, from night to the dark half of the moon, from the dark half of the moon to the 6 months during which the sun goes to the south. But they do not reach the year. Within a year they come back. From those months they go to the world of the manis. Manis means ancestors. From the world of the manis to the Akasha, space. From the Akasha to the moon. This is King Shoma. They are the food. They are the food of the gods. Them the gods eat. Gods eat, do you know what gods eat means? They become the food, that is to say, the objects of enjoyment of the gods. As men, women, and cattle are enjoyed by a king, the gods enjoy them as the master enjoys his servants. The servants too have their share of enjoyments, thus the householder also experiences pleasures in the lunar world. Do you know what I was thinking? The shape in White House. He thinks, I cook for the President of the United States of America. He has good reputation. If he writes a book, everybody will read that. I am a barber of the President. I am the minister of the President. You see, they are all under this barbers and all these things, President's servants like that, At the same time, they enjoy the President's reputation, and President also enjoy them. That is the way we understand the gods eat them, No, they do not swallow these people. souls. Means I enjoy these people, you see. And people also enjoy the illumined soul. Gods, Very interesting. Having dwelt there in the lunar world till their good works are consumed, they return again the same way they came. They first reach the Akasha, space, from Akasha, the air. Having become air, they become smoke. Smoke, how I understood smoke? Smoke means deep cloud, dark cloud. Having become smoke, they become mist. Having become mist, they become cloud. Having become cloud, they fall as rainwater. Then they are born as rice and barley, herbs and trees, sesamum and beans. Thence the exit is most difficult. For whoever capable of begetting children eats that food and injects semen, they become like unto him. Those who conduct here on earth has been good will quickly attain some good birth. Birth as a Brahmin, birth as a Kshatriya, or birth as Vaishya. But those who conduct here has been evil will quickly attain some evil birth. That is the way, lower plane, in the subhuman plane, they go. Anyhow, you can now imagine, visualize what I mean by apurana vritti. How this soul recycle, how they come to this world, how is a soul reborn. It is not easy to get a human birth, I tell you frankly. So many people are eating food, not that all food will become semen, and all semen will be children. Impossible. Some of that water which is falling, some of them falling on the street, on the ground, on the trees and the plants, they are not getting any chance. Again, go back. How many times this recycling process is going on? It is extremely important it is very, very important to have a human body. If you read the commentary of Shankara, you will understand of these verses. And that human life we misuse. We misuse. Time is running out. Yached avedit atasettam asti. Yached navedit mahoti vinasti. If you can attain God, if you realize the truth in this very life, blessed you are. Otherwise, it will bring a terrible disaster to your life. The disaster is recycling. Every time you are born, living 9 months in the womb of the mother is not an easy job, difficult. That soul is waiting to come out. And comes out, so many problems, disease, so many other problems. It is unending struggle. This constant birth and death like a wheel going on, of which we are all helpless victims. That won't happen to them. They become free. This is a preliminary statement. In a later shloka, the greatness of the achievement is shown that you get it here and now, not in some future life, not in some heaven. Here itself, in this life, in this body, we can come to this state of realization, this state of non-birth, the state in which we are truly free. Swamiji made a remark. Some people think when we shall go to heaven, we shall play the harp. Swamiji said, why don't you buy right now and start in your living room? Why will you wait for heaven? That is Swamiji's expression. Coming and going. Sri Ramakrishna made another remark. Have you seen a potter? Here is his wheel. It is rotating. He put the clay on the top. Today I shall make cups. Today mugs. Today a plate. Whatever comes to his mind, immediately his finger goes on the clay and he gives shape. Then what does he do? He put all these cups, plates, saucers in the sun. The raw thing he does not put in the kiln for burning. It must be dried by the sun. Then he carries to his kiln and there he burns. There he bakes all of them. So, in the raw stage, when they are in the sun, if they are broken or anything bad happened, so he does not throw away the clay. Again, he puts some water and he makes a dough and then again he brings back on the wheel. But if they are burnt, if those are broken, he cannot bring them back. That is a beautiful illustration of Ramakrishna. The moment you are illumined, that means you are burnt. You will never come back to this world. But if you have desire, that means rawness is still there. You will have to come back on the wheel of the potter. We can visualize this scene. It is a beautiful scene. Another thing, another statement of this verse impresses me. Tad buddhaya. Our teacher used to tell us the importance of human intellect. Who is the king of your body and the mind? Intellect. Intellect is the charioteer. He is the driver of our body and the mind organism. Mind are the reins. Horses are the senses. This body is the chariot. And intellect is the driver. Now, this intellect can be brainwashed. We sometimes use that word, brainwashed. Look at these terrorists, how they are brainwashed. Their buddhi, these fanatics put in their buddhi that I shall put that live bomb, that vest full of explosives, both your back and front, and you blow it up in the midst of some innocent people, kill them, you will be killed. Do you know what will happen? You will go to heaven and you will find 40 young girls are waiting to entertain you. This idea, they penetrate into their buddhi. And they believe it. That I am a poor man, what am I doing, suffering in this world? It is better go to heaven. This human life is no good. He kills himself, he kills others and goes to heaven. That is called Tad buddhaya. Buddhi is indoctrinated. Buddhi is completely washed. They put all these ideas into the buddhi and they believe it. I was thinking, think of this, that 19 people who hit this Pentagon and the World Trade Center. They are indoctrinated that way. They believe that destruction will take us to heaven. Next verse. Vidya binayo sampanne brahmane gobihustini sunichaiva shapakecha punjita samodarshina. The punjitas or knowers of the self, Look with an equal eye on the Brahmana, endowed with learning and humility, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and an eater of dogs, low-caste person. We shall break each word of this verse. Always remember, these words are coming from the lips of Krishna, God. God's words are always true, and truth is always new. These teachings are given perhaps 3,000 years ago. Still, these teachings are inspiring us. One of our devotees in Florida, he has a hobby to collect the Bhagavad Gita. He had, I think, 75 or 80 translations of Gita in his room. I went there and saw it. Swami, I want to read the Gita. Huge collection of the Bhagavad Gita. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Vidya means knowledge. Knowledge, experience of the self, Atman. Vinaya, humility. Lack of ego. Some people we have seen extremely learned, but too much ego. Again, we find a person is very humble, but no learning, no knowledge. No, you need both. You need the knowledge, you need the humility. I have seen in the Washington state, when the apples grow on the tree, it is a bumper crop. The farmer will have to destroy some apples, otherwise the branches will break, will fall down. I have seen. They will have to destroy some apples because it goes low. So when a person has real knowledge, wisdom, he becomes very low, very humble. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahman. A Brahmin, a knower of God, he has knowledge, wisdom of the Atman, and he is very humble. He is full of Sattva-guna. Gopi. Gopi means cows, represents Rajaguna. Hosti, elephant, represents Tamoguna. Then Shuni, cow, dogs. Shapak, the Chandalas, low caste people. The Pundita, Pundita means Panda, Panda means Buddhi, Vedojjala Buddhi. The person whose intellect is luminous, lighted intellect. Sometimes I see, if you practice meditation and spiritual disciplines for some years, you will develop X-ray vision. You can see. You will be very farsighted. You have a tremendous power of discrimination at that time. That is called Pundita. Pundita means very learned, very capable person, And Shamadarshina. These are the two adjectives, Pundita, Shamadarshina. Shamadarshi, as I already explained to you, the person who is same-sighted. Shamadarshi, I shall tell you a story from Swami Vivekananda's life. He was traveling during his itinerary days in Rajputana. The Maharaja of Khetri wanted to entertain Swamiji, so he brought an Ajgar. And Swamiji left the court and said that being a monk, I should not see this kind of secular, I should not have this kind of secular enjoyment. I must leave. So Swamiji left. That girl sang a devotional song by Shurodas, a famous mystic. Prabhu mere avagun chite na dharo, samudar se naam tiharo, chahe to par karu. Which is in Hindi. O Lord, look not upon my evil qualities. Thy name, O Lord, is same-sighted. one piece of iron is in the image in the temple, and another, the knife in the hand of the butcher. But when they touch the philosopher's stone, both alike turn to gold. O Lord, look not upon my evil qualities. You have seen the Ganges water and the water of the drain, ditch water, sewer water. When that water meets the Ganges water, it becomes pure Ganges water. So Lord, don't see my evil qualities. You are the Shamadarshi Namati Haru. You are the Shamadarshi. Same-sightedness is thy name, Lord. Swamiji immediately left his room. He came and apologized to that Nach girl. Please forgive me, my mother. You removed the scale from my eyes. Still, I have the feeling of differentiation between you and the others. I am supposed to see God, Brahman in everything, in every being. That is the greatness of Swamiji. Immediately he came and apologized. I thought I know a little bit superiority complex. You are an Aj girl, I am a holy man, you see I am a monk. Immediately he came and apologized. Pandita Samadarshina. I was working on mother's life. Mother was going to South India for pilgrimage. On her way, she stopped at Kothar, which is in Odisha. She was telling her experience to her disciple. My son, nowadays I see Master everywhere. The other day, my niece Radhu was trying to kill an ant. And I saw Master Sri Ramakrishna was in that ant. I forbade her. I stopped her. Don't kill that ant. That is called Shamadarshina. Swami Sri Ramakrishna says, sometimes I see Khal Narayan, Lucha Narayan, a wicked man, a thief, a robber, a murderer, and good people. I see Narayan God in each one of them. And I salute them. I see the street girl waiting for a customer. I see the mother is standing there in another form. I see Divine Mother in her. That is Shamadarshina. When I go to the temple, I see the puja vessels, the image, the door sill, everything is pervaded by consciousness. That is called Pandita Samadarshina. Samadarshi, same-sighted. Sri Ramakrishna mentioned a strainer is telling a needle that there is a hole behind you. Please be careful. The strainer has thousands of holes, he does not see it. The people, those who see fault in others, they have many faults inside. They are not Shamadarshi. Nobody is perfect in this world. One day I was taking breakfast in Belun Math. A monk was telling me, you know, Maharaj, let me tell you one of my experiences. One day I went to the abbot, the head Swami, and complained against a monk. The head Swami listened to me and then he said, whatever you said may be true. But do you know there are some people, they complain against you also? As you are complaining against a monk, there are some monks also complain against you. You are a very difficult person to live with. But Maharaj, From that day on, I stopped criticizing others. I found my own faults. That happens. I was reading a funny quote from G.K. Chesterton, a famous English writer. The Bible tells us to love our neighbors and also to love our enemies, probably because they are generally the same people. When the sun reflects on the river, on the lake, on a pond, on wine, on ditch water, the sun remains unaffected. But the reflection remains the same. That is called Samadorshitva. It is easy to see God in a person who is holy and pure, but how to see Him in a dog, in an ordinary person, even in a criminal, in a prostitute? How is it possible? Yes, this person has achieved that universal vision. In Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel, you read, he saw Brahman in dogs, in cats, in human beings, in the prostitute standing out there, in every one of them, and he saluted every one of them. This happened in our own time. These are not mere words. These are not theories. These have been demonstrated again and again. But Sri Ramakrishna is very intelligent, and he cautioned people. God dwells in everything, in every being, but be careful. Don't hug a tiger god, lion god. Just salute them from a distance. God dwells in a tiger, in a lion also, but don't hug them. You must have a strong common sense. Thakur says, Master is something really intelligent. Gita, Samadarshina. Swami Vivekananda's comment. The real Vedantist alone will give up his life for a fellow man without any compunction, because he knows he will not die. As long as there is one insect left in the world, he is living. As long as one mouth eats, he eats. So he goes on doing good to others and is never hindered by the modern ideas of caring for the body. When a man reaches this point of abnegation, he goes beyond the moral struggle, beyond everything. He sees in the most learned priest, in the cow, in the dog, in the most miserable places, neither the learned man, nor the cow, nor the dog, nor the miserable place, but the same divinity manifesting itself in them all. He alone is the happy man, and the man who has acquired this sameness has, even in this life, conquered all existence. Last of all comes self-surrender. Then we shall be able to give ourselves up to the mother. The misery comes, welcome. If happiness comes, welcome. Then when we come up to this love, all crooked things shall be straight. There will be the same sight for the Brahmin, the Pariya, and the dog. Until we love the universe with same-sightedness, with impartial, undying love, we are missing again and again. But then all will have vanished, and we shall see in all the same infinite, eternal Mother. Samadarshitva. The Swami Swami Chetanananda ji made a very beautiful remark here. India became free. She adopted a constitution, a democratic republican constitution, of which this Samadurshitya is the very soul. Distinction between one and another as a citizen is abolished. There is no more king in India, you see. Every citizen is equal to every other citizen. We have to look at him or her in that attitude of oneness. Unfortunately, we do it now only during elections. We forget it immediately after the elections. A candidate will go to a poor, old, lower caste woman and say, "Madam, please come and vote for me. You are all a part of our democracy. We are all one." That is how democracy functions. You mentioned, it happens. A senator or a congressman will come to you, "Please vote for me." And he will eat with you, chat with you in a restaurant. And when he is elected, perhaps you have gone to his office to see him. You may not be able to see him. And Swami made a remark about it. But I observed that even the king of Norway and Sweden will go shopping and no kind of traffic jam will be there. They are just like other citizens. I do not know. Swami saw it perhaps. Next verse, I shall just give a little synopsis of the next verse. That I shall have to take it very seriously because that verse is very, very important. I shall just give you the introduction of that verse. Today I do not have much time to complete that verse. Ihaiva turjita sarga yesam saimya stitang manaha nirdoshami samang brahma tasmat brahmanite sthitaha. Relative existence has been conquered by them even in this world, whose mind rests in sameness. Since Brahman is the same in all and is without imperfection, therefore they indeed rest in Brahman. This verse, Swami Vivekananda liked it very much. I shall read Swamiji's comment, what is said about this verse. The absolute sameness of conditions, if that be the aim of ethics, appears to be impossible. That all men should be the same could never be, however we might try. Men will be born differentiated. Some will have more power than others. Some will have natural capacities, others not. Some will have perfect bodies, others not. We can never stop that. At the same time, ring in our ears the wonderful words of morality proclaimed by various teachers. Thus, seeing the same God equally present in all, the sage does not injure self by the self, and thus reaches the highest goal. Even in this life, they have conquered relative existence, whose minds are firmly fixed on this sameness. For God is pure, and God is the same to all. Therefore, such are sage, such are said to be living in God. We cannot deny that this is the real idea. Yet at the same time comes the difficulty that the sameness as regards its external forms and position can never be attained. Dualism is the natural idea of the senses. As long as we are bound by the senses, we are bound to see God who is only personal and nothing but personal. We are bound to see the world as it is, says Ramanuja. So long as you think you are a body, and you think you are a mind, and you think you are a jiva, individual soul, every act of perception will give you the three, soul and nature and something else causing both. But yet, at the same time, even the idea of body disappears, where the mind itself becomes finer and finer, till it has almost disappeared, when all the different things that make us fear, make us weak, and bind us down to this body life have disappeared. Then and then alone, one finds out the truth of that grand old teaching. What is the teaching? Even in this life, they have conquered the rounds of birth and death, whose minds are firm fixed on the sameness of everything, for God is pure and the same to all, and therefore such are said to be in the living in God. Who brings the differences? All men are not equal. All women are not equal. Four things bring differences: roop, form, beauty, gun, quality, avastha, circumstances, education, training, upadhi. These are the things bring differences in us. A man has 5 sons. Each one is different. Why these differences? At the same time, God dwells in all beings. What is the solution? This is the beauty of Vedanta philosophy. You have the potentiality. You can manifest yourself. That Swamiji was talking again and again. Religion is the manifestation of perfection. Religion is the manifestation of divinity already in human beings. That is called true religion. Difference is there. But today's saint can be a sinner tomorrow. Tomorrow's sinner also can be a saint tomorrow. It is on all human hands. As I said many times, I am a great believer of this law of karma. If you really want to change your life, you can. Because God gave you intellect, hands, brain, you can function. You can change your life. And this morning a thought came to my mind, how we can change our life. I already started to write down 10 or 12 points I wrote down before I came here. How we can change our life. But as one day I may talk about it. Thank you very much. Mukam karuti vachalam pungum langhayate girim yat kripa tamam bandi paramananda madhavam. I bow down to Krishna, by whose grace the lame scale mountains and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 my God.